connect. Okay, it says we're on. We're good to go again. Okay, Lynn, thank you for the thumbs up. Give me an audio check. As soon as you hear this, give me an audio check, okay? Hopefully this stays connected with the other part of the presentation and it's all one. So give me an audio check, somebody, please. Can you hear me? Audio check. Come on, audio check. Anybody hear me? Yep, back up. Okay. Way to go. We hear you. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Prospero. So, okay, back to it. So what I was doing was, there's one more gem. Here it is. Okay, just found it. See, there we go. Back on, and I found it right here. Listen to this. This is when so I read 2 chapters a day. I'm reading from Genesis all the way through the good book again, and I'm right now. I'm all the way up to where am I in? Second Kings already. You know, and so I've been reading 2 chapters a day from Genesis and Second Kings now, blowing my mind. This I feel like I'm reading the scriptures for the first time with Farrar Fenton, and so in uh, in First Kings chapter 5, verse 9 through 11, I'm going to just read it, okay? And Elohim, the great Elohim, and I'm interjecting, he uses God, but God is the great Elohim. And great Elohim gave to Solomon very great wisdom and understanding and wide intelligence, like the sand on the seashore. For Solomon's scientific knowledge was more extensive than the science of all of the Benai Kedim. And then there's a footnote, which means the sons of the east, which means Chaldeans. And those were the ones who came to visit Yeshua, by the way. And more than all the sciences of the Mitzrayim. There's Mitzrayim, not Egypt. The big lie, never was Egypt. Mitzrayim. And he's got footnotes here, okay? And he says in the footnote, Egyptians, but it's Mitzrayim, it's plural. He knew more than all of the men, listen to this, about the orbits of the planets and of the origination of light and fixed sustaining systems and the results of the revolving, get this, spheres, okay? Not flat, spheres. You see, he is probably the greatest translator of all time from Greek or Hebrew. 40 years of nonstop reading, wouldn't touch to English because he wanted to be proficient in the ancient tongue. You see what it is? And so guess what? Now I'm going to go to Psalm 90, verse 2. Psalm 90, verse 2. Okay, Psalm 90, verse 2. Okay, and here we are. And Yahweh, you were our refuge for all the ages, ere ever the mountains were born, or the earth and the world rolled in their spheres. Rolled in their spheres, okay? And you set men in depression, and then you say, sons of Adam, come back. Come back. I know I can relate to this, okay? And he allows us to suffer at times, is what it's saying, you know. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I can't get over it. But this is the most powerful, important translation, okay, or transliteration of our scriptures ever. Farrar Fenton, 1905 reprint. Go to artisanpublishers.com for the best price. Artisanpublishers.com out in Oklahoma, my friends. Tell them Desert Owl sent you. But if you want to just check it out and look in the book, go to Amazon. But they charge more for it at Amazon. But go to Amazon and you can check it out. Okay, so there you go. Okay, and so I just wanted to now get into George Lamsa and the Peshitta, and I've been reading George. And I was held back on that one for 2 years because of negative talk by ignorant people, you know, in a Bible bookstore of all places, and And I told them about it, and they said, no, you don't want to get George Lamsa because, it's something like, they said he took it out of English, put it in Aramaic, then he took it out of Aramaic and put it in English, and, so, and I thinking, man, I don't want to read anything like that. Found out a bunch of hogwash, okay? Turns out George Lamsa grew up in Kurdistan, okay? Grew up in Kurdistan, which is the hill country, like back where they found Noah's Ark, way back in the boonies, and where the Kurds are today, fighting for their lives, the last remnant of the original Aramaic-speaking people from the Eastern Aramaic. Okay, they're in the hill country, virtually left untouched by the rest of civilization because it was in, like, who'd want to go there? Out there, like where the Hittites had their civilization, and so George came out in the 1930s, 1933, and he came to America, and he brought his translation of the scriptures with him into English. He spoke five different national dialects or tongues. Language is the wrong word. I try to avoid it, but I'll say it. Okay, 5 languages. Another word I'll have to touch on. I did it actually on with my interview with Dr. Lorraine on program number 3, if you want to check it out, on words. So yeah, he came here, and then when the King James Bible thumpers read his Aramaic translation, they said, "Oh no, George, we can't publish this. I'm sorry, man, we can't publish it. No, man, this would destroy our paradigm. No, but they'd wake up. This is like a highly charged cup of coffee here. They'd like say, what's going on? So look, George, if you want us to publish your book, then you have to let us rewrite it, redraft it, and then we'll publish it, okay?" And he figured, well, some publishing is better than no publishing, and he said, okay. And so the good news, let me take a sip of my drink. So the good news, ladies and gentlemen, is that this is still the they just went away from the things they didn't really want us to see that had to do with, like, the sun, or other elements. And especially when Yeshua was on the cross and he says, my God, why have you forsaken me? Because when George found out in our Western tradition that the scriptures said, my God, why have you forsaken me? He said if they knew that our scriptures in the West, the people in the East knew that our Western scripture said that, he said they would have considered that blasphemy. Okay? Blasphemy. Why? Well, we know why, right? We already knew it inside that there was something wrong with that saying, why have you forsaken me? I was just going to use the word betray, that because it's almost like that. When he told everybody that, hey, by the way, the priests are going to murder me, and after they murder me, I'm going to rise, come back after 3 days and rise from the grave. I'm coming back, right? So if he told everybody he's coming back, then how could he say, well, he betrayed me? Because, it doesn't fit the narrative. But so that's interesting because, right, that's the only place within our scriptures in our New Testament where there's actually an Aramaic draft right underneath the English, right? It says lama lama, lama lama, Elio lama shabachthane. Okay, Eloi lama shabachthane. That's what it said. Okay, and so literally it's saying it correctly in the Aramaic, but nobody can read it. You see, and so I think what it was the scribe was so afraid when he was given orders to change the text and put, why have you betrayed me in there? Why have you forsaken me? That literally he slipped in the Aramaic. So it's not like he didn't tell you. Okay. So that's how it went. And therefore, so in the George Lamsa version of the Peshitta, it's called Peshitta, which means pure, simple, clear interpretation and meaning. That's what it means. The pure, the clear, the simple interpretation and meaning. And so in the Lamsa version, in the footnote, he was at least allowed to put the footnote in there, because what they said in the Aramaic was not, why have you forsaken me? But my Eloi, Eloi. This is my chosen destiny. You see? What he's saying is, you didn't put me here. Nobody put me here. I put myself here. This is where I wanted to be, to be a sacrifice, to transcend this world, to leave it behind. And hey there, Diane. Good to have you. Wrong spelling. Laughing out loud. Okay. Uh, I don't know. It's a short note, so I can't make much out of that. But so Lamsa, yeah, I'm telling you, and he's got right in the beginning, he's got a beautiful introduction, and he talks about gives you comparisons from the King James and Lamsa, and King James has about 20,000 outright um, mistakes in translation. Okay, at least 20,000 and actually more. Okay, and not to mention lies. Okay, outright lies, and I will prove that. But you've got to remember that it's okay because it's an occultic world, and the darkness took over to publishing. Okay, they took over to publishing, and that's the way it was meant to be because Yeshua is the one who reveals, and so it has to be revealed, ladies and gentlemen. It's not gonna. You really think after the politicians lied to you, your teachers lied to you, they repeated the same lies, whether they did it knowingly or unknowingly. The bullpit lies to you. Everybody lies to you, and then you think you got your scriptures and they're telling all the truth. You don't think they wanted to deny you? I'm going to prove to you. I'm going to prove to you that they wanted to deny you the light, okay? And my God, my forsaken, why have you forsaken me is one of those examples. So, so George Lamsa, you can get a copy, it's Old Testament, New Testament, okay? And what I do is, so I compare George Lamsa from the Eastern Peshitta with Fenton from the Greek. And by the way, George Lamsa wrote about 20 books and to support his work. And he did one on the idioms, he did one on the history, and he proves out that all of the scriptures were originally in Aramaic, okay? And then the Greek, but what they did is they destroyed the Aramaic, the Diatessaron, which was the merged gospels all in one gospel, and the Roman Empire came and destroyed all them. And the reason was they didn't want us to get the pure milk, and they wanted to turn it into homogenized pasteurized milk, and make it synthesize it and transform it into something of their own. And so, and that's why Lamsa pointed out that all of the Aramaic uh, versions that are out there now from the Peshitta are all in harmony. But the Greek, uh, there are many different varieties of the Greek that don't harmonize. There's a wide variety, and that's evidence that the Greek was, a secondary generation of translation from the Aramaic because even though they're all Indo-Germanic in their origin, by the time we get to the Syriac and to the Greek cultures, they sound very different, and therefore it's virtually impossible to take Aramaic words in certain instances and convert them into Greek. Okay, and then imagine then from there you're going to go into Latin or English, right? I mean, come on, it's amazing. Well, I guess Jerome went right from the Aramaic into the Latin. I don't think he had to use the Greek, but so anyway, you see, there's a lot of problems that we're dealing with, ladies and gentlemen, and that's the nature of this world. But Yeshua is a revealer. He's the tree of knowledge. He's my tree of knowledge. And so if you want to get George Lamsa, you can also get him from Artisan Publishers as well. Okay, both books from Artisan Publishers, and you will have between the two, because very often when I find an enigma within Fenton, this is what's happened over and over. Whenever I'm looking at Farrar Fenton and I'm saying, well, I know that Farrar Fenton has done the most powerful translation, but this, I don't know what's going on with this one. It doesn't, make sense or it doesn't feel right to me. So I go look in Lamsa, boom, Lamsa's got the better version. Okay, Lamsa wins when there's an enigma or an anomaly within Fenton. Okay, so we got to become scholars, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I mean, what Yeshua brought was the enlightenment, the golden age of light. Okay? And we don't see an enlightenment out there today. What we see is a bunch of people nodding their head in bullpits and pews, going, "Amen, brother. Yeah, what did he say? I don't know." And nobody has to work. They just go for 45 minutes, once a week, and think that they got a ticket to ride, and that's not the case. It's a 24-hour, 7-day a week journey that is totally focused and dedicated on reading scriptures. It says that man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes out of the mouth of the great light of the Father. And so therefore, you eat bread every day. You eat 3 meals a day. I only eat 2. That's but so so the most important food you have to eat is your scripture. You've got to be a scholar. You can't rely on just what other people are telling you. And the same, here, prove it out. I'm not trying to convince anybody of anything here, actually, because you've got to see and read it for yourself. And that's coming up in the words now. We just finished our book review, and I want to thank you for hanging in there with me, and I hope you really enjoyed hearing that. But now well, in the great lies of history, I didn't do that. Well, maybe I'm going to save the great lie for last because I want to get into the words, okay? And let me, yeah, because I was leading right into it. So we're going to do the Pirate Sea of Words. But first, I just want to remind you, if you want to get a copy of the Real Da Vinci Code Etymological Dictionary, you can get a copy for any size donation to the translation project, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, we have a big project, and you can be a part of it. You can help us make history. Okay, you can take credit for being a part of this. This is not me. This is Yeshua, and I'm his slave, and I don't know how this is supposed to I've been struggling at this for years, and I can now have the formula. I got 40,000. 3x5 cards with notes, definitions, quotes, and other research symbols. It's all there. Okay, and that reminds me, I missed a card today. I was going to do the alphabet. Where did I miss that one? Oh, it's coming up. Okay, that's why it's coming up. And so if you want to get my first attempt at a dictionary in 2011, 8.5 by 11, 300 pages, mind blower. Okay, this is going to blow. It's a collector's item. Literally, okay? You haven't seen anything yet if you haven't seen the Real Da Vinci Code Etymological Dictionary. And Linda mentioned she got it today, and I got it to a couple friends here over the last 2 days. And so just go to therealpublicradio.net, any size donation, okay? If you can't make a donation, it's okay. Then you just call me, let me know. I'll get it to you, all right? We're not here to deny anybody. Yeshua said he gave to me freely, and I'm supposed to give it to you if, so a donation is a gift, right? So it's your call. Anyway, you can have it, okay? So now, it's in a word. The question is, what's in a word, ladies and gentlemen? Well, perhaps everything is in a word. My quote I came up with while I was producing my radio network, therealpublicradio.net, and broadcasting every night when I was getting into the words really heavy now. We got a question there. Okay. I just wanted to say that this was my quote, words are, because I could see it, words are the DNA of life, the DNA of life. Why? Well, guess what? If we couldn't talk, if we couldn't communicate, what would happen? Nothing. Nothing. Nothing would happen. And okay, so I see there's a comment right above as well. So hang on. Hold on to your typing now. I got to read this before it goes past me. So yeah, okay. So Shadow Ninja says, I want one, please. I'll donate my time and prayers, but I have no phone. Okay, well, you got to hit me up on my email. It's contact@freeamericaradio.com. It's the only way I can get it to you. PDF file. Contact@freeamericaradio.com. How are you listening in if you don't have a phone? You on a computer? Or anyway, that's okay. Just get with me any way you can, and I'll get it to you, Shadow Ninja. And so then we got a question from Lynn Mitzi. Shadow Ninja would really benefit from a copy. Certainly, everybody would. Okay, so I guess we're back in the words here. I'm going to get back to my focus. pirate sea of words. That's what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pirate sea of words. These pirates, okay, these criminals came with their swords undrawn, the burning swords of fire, and said, "Arr, matey, we're taking over the words, and I don't care what you like, it will throw you overboard, okay?" And that's basically what they did. So now I'm going to back up to yesterday when we talked about Mitzrayim, and I said that, the word Egypt was a latecomer. Egypt is only 350 years old. It was to be used to put in our scriptures because they didn't want us to know about Mitzrayim, the real word for, Egypt, and that Egypt is a code. And so I'm going to give it to you now. So you better get a pen and paper. Okay, I'm gonna rest my voice for a second here while you're getting a pen and paper because you got to see it for yourself. Got to see and read it for yourself. And thank you. You're tuned in right here to the Forbidden History series. What they didn't want you to know, but we tell right here. I'm your host Ezra Dowell. If you're tuning in late, I want to welcome you to the broadcast. Are we having fun yet? I hope so. I think we're on the last leg of being out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Actually. Okay, so you got your pen and paper, right? So what I want you to do is write down the word Egypt. You're going to have room below. You got to have a little space below because we're going to write something underneath Egypt. So write Egypt, E-G-Y-P-T. It's a pretty strange looking word, wouldn't you say? When you think about it, right? Like E-G and Y-P-T. That's a pretty strange looking word. And it's a code, ladies and gentlemen, actually. So what I want you to do now, we're going to write a word under it. But you're going to skip a space because we're going to make some connecting arrows. And so skip a space directly under it. Just like under E, in Egypt, you're going to start with the letter E and write out the word 8. So each letter is going to have another letter below it, down under. Okay, so under Egypt, skipping a space, but going directly under it, write the word 8, E-I-G-H-T. Okay, and so now you've written down the word 8. Okay, please type my email. Okay. Okay. Well, look at that. It wouldn't let me do it. It won't let you do an email. How about that? I'm sorry, I just tried it. It wouldn't let me do it. It whited it out. So, okay, so just is contact, okay, at free, as in freedom, FreeAmericaRadio.com, okay? It's on my website, therealpublicradio.net. Go to the contact page. If you ever forget it, just remember, go to contact page at therealpublicradio.net. Okay, so now we're looking at the word Egypt. And then we skipped a space, and right under it, we wrote under each letter, because it's the same amount, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Each word has the same amount of letters, so letter for letter, underneath the word is 8. So now we're going to connect the letters, okay, and I'm going to show you the parallels, how the code works. So under E, draw an arrow straight down to the E below, because they're relative. And now from the G in Egypt, you're going to draw it over to the G in the number in the word 8. Okay, G parallels with the G in 8. Now the Y, remember, like when we were in school, they said sometimes the Y takes the place of the I, right? A-E-I-O-U, or sometimes Y, because the Y takes place of the I. So here the I is taking place of the Y. And so you're going to draw an arrow from the Y over to the I, okay, pointing out that that's the parallel letter. And now the P is a little more tricky, because if you know the rules of the original diction, you've got to have an H with a P, just like an S. You can't have an S without an H in the original. Okay, same with the C. C has an H with it. It's always that way. That's how they corrupted the words. They didn't tell us this, and they took them out, abbreviated the letters as well as the root components. So P has to have an H. And so instead of the P, they supplement it with the H. So from the letter P above, draw an arrow down to the H in the word 8. And then as you can see, the last letter is also the last letter in 8. Both are a T. So the front letters and the back letters are the same. The 3 in the middle are part of the code, switch out. And so what do you got? Egypt is a code for parallel, an anagram for the word 8. And the 8 is a code, and it means return. Okay? So that's why there's a pyramid on the dollar bill, because um, and that's in Rome. It's it's not the Giza pyramid. It's a very steep pyramid on the dollar bill, and it's the one in Rome because it was built there as a memorial to remember where they had come from, long time ago. So return, just like the phoenix. They say in the mythology, the phoenix returns to Egypt and burns up in ashes every 500 years, and out of the ashes comes another serpent. Well, America is now been here for 500 years since the phony discovery of America by Columbus, the butcher, and so the phoenix is flying back in the metaphor to Egypt and burning up, and out of the burning ashes will come the new serpent, and that's China. China is the new boy coming up, and we're going down in flames, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so so I'm going to do a new segment. But I'm not going to start tonight. I don't think. Let me think here. Okay, yeah, I guess I can. I'm doing pretty good so far. Let me see what I got here. Looking at me. No, I'm gonna. Okay, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna try to set a goal to start it tomorrow, and it's going to be the AB seeds of light. And what it see because we got to start with symbols. You know, the words are made up of symbols, and so I've got to start with giving to you the meaning of the letters in the alphabet, the code. Okay, it's a code. It wasn't ABC. All right, I'll give you a primer. Okay, it wasn't ABC. It was A, V, G. A as in apple, V as in Victor, G as in George. That is the original. Okay, original alphabet. And so we're gonna get into the mystery of the symbols, and I'll show you the code. We're gonna blow Bhagwan Gandhi Rashish right out of the water with all of his wonderful, clever ideas on how to deceive us, because Yeshua is the revealer, and nobody can get over on Yeshua. He let them get away with their little game, knowing all along he was going to reveal this stuff, right? So nothing new under the sun. They can't hide. They call themselves the all-seeing eye. Well, guess what? Our Heavenly Father, Yeshua, he's the all-time eye, right? He sees all things, knows all things, and was there from the beginning of time. And these losers who are sellouts, these losers who have sold their soul and are selling our world out, they're going back to dirt. They're losers, and they think they're getting away with something. I don't know what they think they're getting away with. Let's see here. We got Shadow Ninja blessings from the year 5778. Much love all. Got to make dinner and take care of some animals. Hopefully I can get back in here. If not, thanks, Desert. Okay, thank you for stopping by, Shadow Ninja. Good to have you. Okay, and so I wanted to do a little rather than focus on one word like I did last night with Shavor. I wanted to give a little bit more of a demonstration on the words. I just wanted to give you like a little care package to give you a little more of an idea on the simplicity of it, but yet how the game was played, to deceive us. So I've got two words because I know you know these words, and you see them all the time when you're reading your Gospels in particular, right? God spelled, okay, go spell. So in there, and let me take another sip of my drink, please. So in there, you've got two key words that you see over and over within your scriptures. And one of them is behold, and one of them is lo. Now, when we read it in our King James or, the older versions, then we think that it's just Middle English, and therefore, okay, it's an archaic word, and so it's just out of date, you know. But you don't go to work and say, hey, boss, behold this, or lo, take a look at that, Jane, lo, like, and so we're not getting the picture. We're not getting the meaning of the word because it's like it doesn't exist anymore. It's garbage. It's out. Out for the trash because it has no value. You don't use it. But what's it mean? And yet, you know what? These are very important words. In fact, they're hiding behind it an essence of the original thought that we need in order to get us back to Kansas, ladies and gentlemen, actually, okay? And so the word behold, so take note that whenever Yeshua was about to say something very important, we have in there the word behold. But that's not what he said. He didn't speak King James, 1611 English. So it wasn't behold. And so we've got to go back into the Aramaic in the original thought and then bring it forward into our modern English as to what he would be literally saying, right? And so this is and they could have done it. They could have given it to us, but they don't want us to get the picture. Okay, but this is what he said. Instead of behold, right in front of a very important statement, what he just said was, you must see and read it for yourself. You see? It's like saying, okay, I can't make you see anything. You must see and read it for yourself. And then he made an important statement, and he's saying, okay, I gave it to you. Did you get it? Right? When people are scratching their head, what did he say? Wait a minute, I don't know. Let's go. And they get on the side and they start talking about it, saying, what did, I heard this, but what'd you hear? And yeah, okay, because one word was being used for many different words. And so you had to see it on an esoteric level, or an esoteric or a cosmological level, or is it, or on a natural level? What's going on? What's going on? And so, behold, you must see and read it for yourself. So whenever you read now, you should transliterate behold and say you must see and read it for yourself, because that's what it really says. And they lied to you, ladies and gentlemen. You like being lied to? I don't. So I don't ever say behold. I say you must see and read it for yourself. You got to, right? If you don't see it, you can't read it. Okay. And then the other word, lo. Now you see what I'm showing you how to read here, and in particular with lo, is it begins with the symbols. And so we've got two symbols, L and O. And when you know the meaning of these symbols, so I read them like a hieroglyph, no different than hieroglyphics. And that's why we're going to start the ABCs of light tomorrow, because I got to show you how to read the alphabet. And then all these other words will start to make sense, because the symbol, like the word I got in front of me on another card, which I'm going to go to next, has the word God on it. Well, it starts with the G, right? The Masons, they have the G on their ring, right? Okay. Well, the G, did you ever wonder, what does that G stand for, right? Well, it stands for gold, right? The first letter of gold, but it stands for the sun. The gold of the sun, the golden light, the golden age of light that Yeshua gave us, what the Masons are taking credit for after they stepped all over them, So the word lo, so when I read it in the symbols, it's called lexicography. Lex, lexi, but it's a lexe, same thing, because it's original for the eye, meaning you are looking with your eyes. It's called the A in the original alphabet, and that's what I got to start tomorrow. Actually, I'm going to write that down because I don't want to forget this. Okay, I mean I'm on a roller coaster here in this present. I'm having a lot of fun, ladies and gentlemen. I got to tell you, to have all this stuff in me and nobody to share it with, it's been pretty rough for the last year, not being able to get on, on YouTube and talk to anybody. It's been a pretty lonely journey. Okay, so now I've got it all set up for tomorrow. And so it's called lexicography, and the last part is graph, graphe. and meaning to use your eye, the graphe. Okay, so so LO, L is the symbol of time. Oh, thank you, Linda. Thank you. I can spell. I should be able to spell depression backwards. When you feel like a bottle of champagne and you're ready to pop, but there's nobody to pop the cork for you, and therefore it's just bubbling and bubbling and waiting to get out. And so I've just so honored to meet so many wonderful people. I met a lot of those trolls. We've met a lot of jerks on these channels, that are attacking other people, and I'm pinching myself to have right out the gate the first day to make some new friends, and all these great people that are not here to play games and fool around. They take life seriously. They're doing their little part with making pictures of the sky every day or whatever it is they're trying to do to shed light with their own channel and everything. So I'm absolutely you know where I want to be with all of you, because I knew the Father was preparing me all my life for this moment, in essence, really, just to then unload. He freely gave it to me, and I have to freely give it as well, to all of you, because the web is so great. The lies, the layers of the onion. These people worked overtime all night long with their ritual sacrifices, trying to cast spells on us, to destroy our families, to kidnap our children, to do every despicable thing, to injure our society, right? And see what Liz. Hi, Liz. How you doing? And it's incredible how they hid so much from us for so long. Thank you, Desert, and everyone, all of you as well. So thank you, Liz, for your thoughts. And so the word "lo," so I read it like a hieroglyph. That's how I was able to read it. Unlike "behold," which it was just on the surface. I could literally see what it was talking about. Behold, you got to hold it in your hand. That's meaning, you got to see and read it for yourself. You got to hold it in your hand. Behold. But lo, so it's two letters, and we've got we got the letter L, which is the symbol of time. Now you got to know, and that's why we're going to do the alphabet, because L is the symbol of time, and then the O, power letter, okay, power letter, and it means perfection. It means truth. It means completion. Okay, and so therefore, in its prime meaning, it means perfection and truth. And so lexicography means reading the symbol, like reading a hieroglyph. So lo, okay. Now sometimes they transliterated that as verily. You may remember some of the scriptures say verily, but lo is the correct um, symbolism for the word. Verily is a derivation of lo. So what it literally means. Now remember, just like behold, the word lo is right in front of an important statement of Yeshua. And in fact, he even said it twice, right? Like we see verily, verily, verily. And so it's so important that he says it twice, meaning you better pay attention. Okay? And so what it really meant was, it is truth throughout all time. It is truth throughout all time. Okay? And so it's a profound statement, right? So in other words, truth doesn't change. It is truth throughout all time. And speaking about time, I'm looking at my clock because I realized the timer uh, started over again when we rebooted. And I'm just wondering if this is all going to be on one video. I hope so. I guess we're going to find out, won't we, the hard way. I hate to have to redo this broadcast again. But anyway, my OBS says it's 1 hour, 32 minutes, and 57 seconds. So that's got all the time. I would imagine it would break it down into YouTubes if anything. That may be what happened. So we'll find out. We may have an A and a B. That'll be great if that's the case. So love that automation. I hope. Okay. So it is true throughout all time, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. There's the two key elements that can transform your, your paradigm from when you realize those words are there in front of anything Yeshua said, man, pay attention. Okay, pay attention because what's in that statement. So I'm going to give you one more example of how they spoke back in the original. Okay, because I think we get the picture that because we're speaking English and and we're in this super technology age that somehow our English for hookers, anglers, hookers, they got everybody on the hook, angling, and and that we're somehow sophisticated because we're in this modern